Okay, in this video, what I'm going to talk about is clout. Clout, building your social market value as a storyteller, as a filmmaker. And is this going to be a quick video, but it's going to be quite valuable because you get this right and a lot of things can change for you, particularly around your lead generation and your sales and attracting premium clients to your video agency. So the first thing I want to talk about, well, what is clout? Clout is a terminology that's used predominantly in hip-hop. A lot of hip-hop artists will talk about clout chasing, building clout. And because, look, clout is essentially getting attention, right? And at the moment, attention is like the new oil. It is so valuable, and brands besides the fact that storytellers are the number one way to build a brand's clout or influence and persuasion and attention, it goes without saying that this is something you should already have your head wrapped around. And if you don't, you should, because this is one of the biggest offers that we can give to a brand or an entrepreneur that's running a business, depending on what your chosen niche is. So it means influence and persuasion. It means perceived value. It means branding, and it means social market value. And so what would it mean if you were having no clout? And this is what a lot of I speak to so many video agencies and filmmakers every single day, and a lot of these problems is like endless revisions, client consistently reschedules to the appointment, doesn't make a fast decision, takes forever, said, I'll look at it next month. Social market value, you just feel like your social market value is just not hitting the spot by things like not feeling like you're the prize, that you're the one that can sort of add that much value to the client. They ask questions like, can I see your portfolio? Because there's a matter of low trust. And what it really does when you don't have clout, and if anyone's ever experienced watching this clout, you would even jump in the comments below. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, you should. This channel will definitely help you build your video agency. And for those of you in natural born storytellers, I'm going to point your attention to this, which is more about clout, and we will be dropping more about how to build and sort of personalize your own clout building and attention mechanisms within natural born storytellers. So not having clout can actually feel like you're just constantly pushing up. It affects your lead generation. It affects the quality of clients that actually come. So it's definitely the differentiation between a premium client versus sort of a lower end client. Everything feels hard. You're constantly having to push a sale. You feel like you're forcing everything and things are just not naturally happening. And let me give you an example of this, okay? And this is a bit of an extreme example, but it's a good way for you to sort of take this. You could actually take this method and actually use it to pitch to clients, because this is a big part of what we do. So if you can imagine two pens, right? They're both $99 each. Let's just say they're fountain pens. They're pretty nice, whatever, a bit different in color, but they're exactly the same in terms of features and everything else. One looks a little bit shorter and a bit of a different shape. But let's just say that one of them was used to write Harry Potter, the story of Harry Potter, and one was just not used by anybody. Now, what's happening there is that this pen now comes with more perceived value because it's got a story wrapped around it. It has this pen has a bit more clout. It has more sort of status. It has more. Harry Potter was this exact same pen. It also increases the trust that this pen works, because it writ the whole series of Harry Potter. And let's even go as far as it creates an emotional connection to the people that love Harry Potter. Now, how much do you think that this pen would be worth versus that pen? And so this is the very first signs of when I seen way back when I was starting my agency of, one, what was I doing for clients? I was helping raise their clout, but I was also helping them raise their value in the marketplace and helping them gain market share by building that credibility and authority up. And so that's a really, really sort of good example, because at the end of the day, when we look at what we actually do, we just sell pixels and waveforms. Like, it's not like anything massively different. So what we have to do is because we're so we're intrinsic. It's basically, you can't feel it. It's not like we're selling property or a car or something physical. It's a video that we're selling. We're selling the intangible. And so if we had to look at, say, two filmmakers, and just to break it down, one's sort of hiding in the background, one's decided to go in all in on the clout. And what is clout? Like, clout is not just necessarily like and shares. Yes, it does work with likes and shares, but a lot of my career, I didn't build my clout through just notoriety. In fact, I barely had any notoriety. But what I did do is I made sure that I had association with people that were quite influential. That was one way that I built my clout. The second way I built clout is I did speaking engagements where I did talk to groups of brands, particularly my niche, about the power of humanizing and storytelling. And then the other thing I did is I got an award. I went in and put myself into awards. And so I used them three mechanisms to build my clout. Now, imagine if this person's got awards, is speaking every 3 months, yes, has a YouTube channel, or is putting out consistent content, and has won multiple awards. Both same skill set. Who do you think has the more trust? Who do you think has more perceived value? Who do you think is selling higher than this person versus that person? And it's just something to think about, and to really, really dive in about, like, how much credibility do you have? How much authority do you have? How much clout and influence are you actually building on a day-to-day basis? Super, super important. When you look at it, it's like, how much are you willing to pay? But I'm going to skip this bit just for the sake of the video. And this is me back in the day. Look, I associated myself, like, I didn't actually get paid for that picture with Gary Vaynerchuk. I actually flew out with a client of mine to New York, to VaynerMedia, to sit down and because he wanted to meet with him, and I was documenting my client. I also went backstage with him because he was sharing stage with one of my clients. And then this is me speaking at Parliament House. So I'm speaking at Parliament House in front of the police minister. These are kind of high roller people talking about the power of story for a non-for-profit called Lifeline. For those of you not in Australia, it's a thing that helps with mental health. And then I was actually featured on Channel 7. So I'm just going to play this for you. And I mean, it's not massive, but my clients that I was currently working with and the leads that I was working on at the time, and I can tell you a little story around how that sort of equated into a $50,000 deal. The night before this was gone, I was actually shooting for a client, and he wanted to have a meeting in the evening, and I said to him, look, I can't meet with you because I've got a little thing on Channel 7 and I just want to watch it. And he actually gave me, he actually put me up that night and said, because I was traveling back to, for those of you who don't know Australia, Gold Coast and Brisbane is about an hour away. And he said, look, why don't you stay in a hotel and we'll meet for breakfast in the morning. So he put me up in a hotel, and then that morning I actually closed 50K brand story with him. And I'm not saying that this actually was the full result of it, but I know I did tell him that this was happening, and he did ask me about it in the morning, and I did send him this clip, and it definitely moved the deal forward and had an impact. And I think where it really has impact, it's not that sort of raving fan that you're looking for. What you're looking for is to build trust. And I mean, if I'm being featured on Channel 7 with a police officer, and we're going to talk about different ways to build clout. So if you don't have this, don't panic. There's different ways you can do it. But for those of you, let's play it. I mean, even the client itself has put his own branding on it. But
Brisbane police officer who was shot in the face by a crazed gunman is sharing his harrowing story to help others. Darryl Green was responding to a disturbance when his team was ambushed. What followed was a decade-long battle with depression and the determination not to let others suffer alone.
It was one of the darkest days for Queensland Police.
The injured officers taken to hospital.
In May 2000, 3 officers were ambushed by crazed gunman Nigel Parodi.
I remember the night crystal clear.
Sharing his struggle with at Parliament in a documentary to be shown at Wednesday's Lifeline event at Parliament House, sharing his struggle with post-traumatic stress. It includes the original police audio. 18 years later, Darryl is still in the police force, and as part of his duties, he continues as a firearms instructor. A legacy of strength and hope.
Some very, very dark periods when I was struck down with depression. I needed a lot of time to deal with that.
In that moment, inspire someone to say, no, he spoke about it, so I can speak about it.
Event details are on our...
And, like, if you look at it, it's like I'm not really saying much at all. Like, but it's just I'm there. I'm building authority by being on Channel 7 on a news outlet, and I'm speaking on top of that. And so if we look at clout even further, and for some of the bigger sort of names like Elon Musk, you think Elon Musk who just can release all these little things like take over Twitter and drop Tesla, or Logan Paul, like sort of dropping a drink, and then if we even go to, Conor McGregor with proper 12, like these guys have built up so much clout and influence amongst their own personal brand that now they can just drop these products and boom, they're into sort of big business. I mean, Mosey's a similar guy. Like he built up a massive. I mean, the amount of content that this guy's putting out to build up his social market value is insane. And then he's building this massive empire in the back with his other businesses. And so, let's talk about how can we start to implement this for you, okay? And what are some of the things that you can start to think about? Like, you don't need to rush off straight away and go, oh, I'm going to go straight to TV, or I'm going to start just running around doing tons of content. Well, the first thing you can start to do is look at the website, look at your logo, look at your brand, your colors, your typography, your video thumbnails are very, very important. Spend time on that because that raises your status. Uniform and clothes. Language is massive. I mean, a lot of students tell me when they come into Clout Academy that just changing the language of how you speak to clients, using certain things like using brand video versus sort of like video marketing, using the word brand versus marketing, things of that nature where you're raising your status or raising the perceived value of what you're doing. Testimonials is great. And you can even go as far as like looking at the paper and everything that you touch and feel within your organization. Now, raising your status doesn't, again, necessarily have to be with attention, because most of you are probably thinking, I don't want to be, like a lot of filmmakers don't actually really want to be in front of camera, that I've noticed. And I mean, I friggin' hate being in front of camera. If you knew me and my team and what we sort of go through in terms of trying to get me on camera, I hate it. But this is the way you can do it. You can do it through social proof, which is association with big brands or other sort of influential entrepreneurs. You can do it through achievements, like putting films out, doing passion projects that actually get attention through an award. And then you could go as far as getting an endorsement, or you could start speaking engagements. And they don't have to be a lot of people in the room. As long as there are 10 very sort of good clients in the room that have successful businesses, and you start talking about the power of story, you are going to raise your perceived value, you are going to increase your social market, and you're definitely going to have more credibility and authority by speaking. And then obviously, like, attention is the fastest leverage to do it. Like, this is the fastest way to get it done. I mean, this is things like podcasts. This is building out your YouTube channel. This is building out your Instagram. This is probably the fastest, most leveraged way of doing it, in my opinion. If I had my time again, this is where I would focus all my effort. And so what are the things that you can start to do to raise your basically your status, your actual status? Well, the first thing you can do is you can start by having a creative methodology, having a way of doing things. You know, for those of you that are involved in Natural Born Storytellers or Clout Academy, we're actually going to break down how to develop your own creative method through an 8-part formula wheel, which is the story wheel that we go through, which you can take and use on your own clients. Being an expert within your niche, so really understanding and getting true insights within an industry is a really powerful way to build your status. And then obviously your offer itself, the offer that you create is the more value you can put in front of someone and actually show them that what you have to offer is amazing. And again, for those of you that are a part of the Natural Born Storytellers, just go through more. We've got way more content in here, like LinkedIn optimization, 10x your prices through clout, all that kind of stuff. Just go through that. Because what we're looking for here, the end result, is to give you star power. Now, it doesn't have to be like massive fame, but what we want to do is making sure that our target market, we are stars in their eyes. So it doesn't matter if you get 10 brands spending $100K with you, that's $1 million, right? So it's 10 times $1 million, like it's a million. You only need 10 people's attention to spend $100K with you, right? So, and all you're doing, and the definition of marketing is owning the buying word in the customer's mind. What does that mean? It means like if you own an Apple versus a Samsung or an Android, then Apple's done a better job with you of owning when it comes to phone, or the word when you think about buying a phone, Apple has taken over that word in your mind. If you are a Subaru or a Toyota person, whichever one you pick has done a better job. And so we want to create that star-like power in the mind of the right target market. This is not about fame. This is about increasing perceived value and creating clout within a very specialized group of people, very special group of people that, one, are affluent, have money, have a need, have problems, have burning desires, and they want to build their brand out through video marketing or video storytelling. Don't use the word marketing. Side tip, so pro tip. And what's the end result? So the end result is this. Like, if you have social high marketer or clout per se, you have a prize frame. So you can actually feel when you walk in the room, people are actually respecting your presence. The authority is that when you speak, people listen and people start to ask questions. You're going to have a way faster sales cycle. And this is probably the biggest reason why you would do it. It helps with lead generation. It helps with the quality of clients that come in. It helps with the sales department. It helps with everything. And people value your perspective. So when you say something, people listen. And what's the result is you just end up becoming an order taker. Like, it really does help the sales department. Like, everything you put out in terms of building and raising your social market value is going to help you grow your business. And look, this applies for a lot of other businesses. So if you're watching this, you've got to understand that all this, what I've just spoke about, is actually what we do. But we have to do it for ourselves. And so we have to look back on these things like the two pens. What kind of story are you wrapping around your work? What kind of story are you putting around your videos that you're presenting on your website? What kind of typography are you doing? Is it looking high end? What kind of colors are you using? What kind of content are you putting out? Are you putting out perspective and thoughts? And are you adding value? Are you doing speaking engagements? Are you attending events, or are you running events? This is a big one. Have you got any awards that you can go after? Something that you can actually be a part of, community or lead a community. And a really good one is to work with people that are already influential. That can actually massively boost your clout in a big way. So I hope this video helps. It wasn't a very long one. I just wanted to make sure that you got the ideology around what is clout. For those of you that are watching here on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. If you guys need more help around customizing your clout and building out your offer and helping you with lead generation, and you run a video agency, you can come to clout.tv, where we can help talk to you about how you could be a member of the Clout Academy. For those of you that haven't joined Natural Born Storytellers, make sure you click on the link below. It's only $49 a week. And other than that, I hope that this has seeded some ideas or ideology on how this is so important for you. But also, remember, this is what we do for clients. I hope this helped. Talk soon.